R.U.R. Rossum's Universal Robots by Karel Čapek. Audio spectacle. Domin, a handsome man of 35, forceful, efficient, and humorous at times. Sulla, a pathetic figure, young, pretty, and attractive. Marius, a young robot, superior to the general run of his kind, dressed in modern clothes. Helena Glory, a vital, sympathetic, handsome girl of 21. R.U.R, a tall, distinguished scientist of 50. Mr. Fabry, a forceful, competent engineer of 40. Hallemeyer, an impressive man of 40, bald head and beard. Alquist, a stout, kindly old man of 60. Nana, a tall, acidulous woman of 40. Radius, a tall, forceful robot. Helena, a radiant young woman of 20. Primus, a good-looking young robot. Robots of the world, the power of man has fallen. A new world has arisen. The rule of the robots. March. Act 1. Central office of the factory of Rossum's Universal Robots. Entrance on the right. The windows on the front wall look out on the rows of factory chimneys. On the left, more managing departments. Domin is sitting in the revolving chair at a large American writing table. On the left-hand wall, large maps showing steamship and railroad routes. On the right-hand wall are fastened printed placards. In contrast to these wall fittings, the floor is covered with a splendid Turkish carpet, a sofa, leather armchair, and filing cabinets. At a desk near the windows, Sulla is typing letters.
Ready?
Yes.
To E.M. McVicker and Company, Southampton, England. We undertake no guarantee for goods damaged in transit. As soon as the consignment was taken on board, we drew your captain's attention to the fact that the vessel was unsuitable for the transport of robots, and we are therefore not responsible for spoiled freight. We beg to remain for Rossum's Universal Robots. Yours truly. Ready?
Yes. Yes.
Another letter. Friedrichswerks, Hamburg, Germany. We beg to acknowledge receipt of order for 15,000 robots. Hello? This is the central office. Yes, certainly. We'll send him a wire. Good. Where did I leave off?
We beg to acknowledge receipt of order for 15,000 robots.
15,000 R. 15,000 R. Well, what is it?
There's a lady, sir, asking to see you.
A lady? Who is she?
I don't know, sir. She brings this card of introduction.
Ah, from President Glory. Ask her to come in.
Please step this way.
Helena Glory enters. Marius exits.
How do you do?
How do you do? What can I do for you?
You are Mr. Domin, the general manager.
I am.
I have come.
With President Glory's card. That is quite sufficient.
President Glory is my father. I am Helena Glory.
Miss Glory, this is such a great honor for us to be allowed to welcome our great president's daughter that
you can't show me the door?
Please sit down. Sulla, you may go. How can I be of service to you, Miss Glory?
I have come.
To have a look at our famous works where people are manufactured. Like all visitors. Well, there is no objection.
I thought it was forbidden to.
To enter the factory? Yes, of course. Everybody comes here with someone's visiting card, Miss Glory.
And you show them.
Only certain things. The manufacture of artificial people is a secret process.
If you only knew how enormously that
interests me, Europe's talking about nothing else.
Why don't you let me finish speaking?
I beg your pardon, did you want to say something different?
I only wanted to ask
whether I could make a special exception in your case and show you our factory. Why, certainly, Miss Glory.
How do you know I wanted to say that?
You, more than we do the rest.
Thank you.
But you must agree not to divulge the least.
My word of honor.
Thank you. Won't you raise your veil?
Of course. You want to see whether I'm a spy or not, I beg your pardon.
What is it?
Would you mind releasing my hand?
I beg your pardon.
How cautious you have to be here, don't you?
Of course. That is...
But what is it? What's the matter?
I'm remarkably pleased. Did you have a pleasant crossing?
Yes.
No difficulty?
Why?
What I mean to say is, you're so young.
May we go straight into the factory?
Yes, 22, I think.
22 what?
Years.
21. Why do you want to know?
Because, you will make a long stay, won't you?
That depends on how much of the factory you show me.
Oh, hang the factory. Oh, no, you shall see everything, Miss Glory. Indeed you shall. Won't you sit down?
Thank you.
But first, would you like to hear the story of the invention?
Yes, indeed.
It was in the year 1920 that old Rossum, the great physiologist, who was then quite a young scientist, took himself to this distant island for the purpose of studying the ocean fauna, full stop. On this occasion, he attempted by chemical synthesis to imitate the living matter known as protoplasm, until he suddenly discovered a substance which behaved exactly like living matter, although its chemical composition was different. That was in the year of 1932, exactly 440 years after the discovery of America. Phew.
Do you know that by heart?
Yes. You see, physiology is not in my line. Shall I go on?
Yes, please.
And then, Miss Glory, old Rossum wrote the following among his chemical specimens. Nature has found only one method of organizing living matter. There is, however, another method, more simple, flexible, and rapid, which has not yet occurred to nature at all. This second process by which life can be developed was discovered by me today. Now imagine him, Miss Glory, writing those wonderful words over some colloidal mess that a dog wouldn't look at. Imagine him sitting over a test tube and thinking how the whole tree of life would grow from it, how all animals would proceed from it, beginning with some sort of beetle and ending with a man of different substance from us. Miss Glory, that was a tremendous moment.
Well?
Now the thing was how to get the life out of the test tubes and hasten development and form organs, bones, and nerves and so on, and find such substances as catalytics, enzymes, hormones, and so forth. In short, you understand?
Not much, I'm afraid.
Never mind. You see, with the help of his tinctures he could make whatever he wanted. He could have produced a Medusa with the brain of a Socrates, or a worm 50 yards long. But being without a grain of humor, he took it into his head to make a vertebrate or perhaps a man. This artificial living matter of his had a raging thirst for life. It didn't mind being sewn or mixed together. That couldn't be done with natural albumin. And that's how he set about it.
About what?
About imitating nature. First of all, he tried making an artificial dog. That took him several years and resulted in a sort of stunted calf which died in a few days. I'll show it to you in the museum. And then old Rossum started on the manufacture of man.
And I must divulge this to nobody?
To nobody in the world.
What a pity that it's to be found in all the school books of both Europe and America.
Yes. But do you know what isn't in the school books? That old Rossum was mad. Seriously, Miss Glory, you must keep this to yourself. The old crank wanted to actually make people.
But you do make people.
Approximately, Miss Glory. But old Rossum meant it literally. He wanted to become a sort of scientific substitute for God. He was a fearful materialist, and that's why he did it all. His sole purpose was nothing more nor less than to prove that God was no longer necessary. Do you know anything about anatomy?
Very little.
Neither do I. Well, he then decided to manufacture everything as in the human body. I'll show you in the museum the bungling attempt it took him 10 years to produce. It was to have been a man, but it lived for 3 days only. Then up came young Rossum, an engineer. He was a wonderful fellow, Miss Glory. When he saw what a mess of it the old man was making, he said, "It's absurd to spend 10 years making a man. If you can't make him quicker than nature, you might as well shut up shop." Then he set about learning anatomy himself.
There's nothing about that in the school books.
No, the school books are full of paid advertisements, and rubbish at that. What the school books say about the united efforts of the two great Rossums is all a fairy tale. They used to have dreadful rows. The old atheist hadn't the slightest conception of industrial matters, and the end of it was that young Rossum shut him up in some laboratory or other and let him fritter the time away with his monstrosities, while he himself started on the business from an engineer's point of view. Old Rossum cursed him, and before he died he managed to botch up 2 physiological horrors. Then one day they found him dead in the laboratory. And that's his whole story.
And what about the young man?
Well, anyone who has looked into human anatomy will have seen at once that man is too complicated, and that a good engineer could make him more simply. So young Rossum began to overhaul anatomy and tried to see what could be left out or simplified. In short, but this isn't boring you, Miss Glory?
No, indeed. It's awfully interesting.
So young Rossum said to himself, a man is something that feels happy, plays the piano, likes going for a walk, and in fact wants to do a whole lot of things that are really unnecessary.
Oh.
That are unnecessary when he wants, let us say, to weave or count. Do you play the piano?
Yes.
That's good. But a working machine must not play the piano, must not feel happy, must not do a whole lot of other things. A gasoline motor must not have tassels or ornaments, Miss Glory. And to manufacture artificial workers is the same thing as to manufacture gasoline motors. The process must be of the simplest and the product of the best from a practical point of view. What sort of worker do you think is the best from a practical point of view?
What?
What sort of worker do you think is the best from a practical point of view?
Perhaps the one who is most honest and hardworking.
No, the one that is the cheapest. The one whose requirements are the smallest. Young Rossum invented a worker with the minimum amount of requirements. He had to simplify him. He rejected everything that did not contribute directly to the progress of work, everything that makes man more expensive. In fact, he rejected man and made the robot. My dear Miss Glory, the robots are not people. Mechanically, they are more perfect than we are. They have an enormously developed intelligence, but they have no soul.
How do you know they've no soul?
Have you ever seen what a robot looks like inside?
No.
Very neat, very simple, really a beautiful piece of work. Not much in it, but everything in flawless order. The product of an engineer is technically at a higher pitch of perfection than a product of nature.
But man is supposed to be the product of God.
All the worse. God hasn't the least notion of modern engineering. Would you believe that young Rossum then proceeded to play at being God?
How do you mean?
He began to manufacture super robots. Regular giants they were. He tried to make them 12 feet tall, but you wouldn't believe what a failure they were.
A failure?
Yes. For no reason at all, their limbs used to keep snapping off. Evidently, our planet is too small for giants. Now we only make robots of normal size and a very high-class human finish.
I saw the first robots at home. The town council engaged them for work.
Bought them, dear Miss Glory. Robots are bought and sold.
These were employed as street sweepers. I saw them sweeping. They were so strange and quiet.
Rossum's Universal Robot Factory doesn't produce a uniform brand of robots. We have robots of finer and coarser grades. The best will live about 20 years. He rings for Marius.
Then they die?
Yes, they get used up. Marius, bring in samples of the manual labor robot. I'll show you specimens at the 2 extremes. This first grade is comparatively inexpensive and is made in vast quantities. There you are, as powerful as a small tractor, guaranteed to have average intelligence. That will do, Marius.
Marius exits with robots.
They make me feel so strange.
Did you see my new typist? He rings for Sulla.
I didn't notice her.
Sulla enters.
Sulla, let Miss Glory see you.
So pleased to meet you. You must find it terribly dull in this out-of-the-way spot, don't you?
I don't know, Miss Glory.
Where do you come from?
From the factory.
Oh, you were born there?
I was made there.
What?
Sulla is a robot, best grade.
Oh, I beg your pardon.
Sulla isn't angry. See, Miss Glory, the kind of skin we make. Feel her face.
Oh, no.
You wouldn't know that she's made of different material from us, would you? Turn round, Sulla.
Oh, stop.
Talk to Miss Glory, Sulla.
Please sit down. Did you have a pleasant crossing?
Oh, yes, certainly.
Don't go back on the Amelia, Miss Glory. The barometer is falling steadily. Wait for the Pennsylvania. That's a good, powerful vessel.
What's its speed?
20 knots. 50,000 tons. One of the latest vessels, Miss Glory.
Thank you.
A crew of 1,500. Captain Harpy. 8 boilers.
That'll do, Sulla. Now show us your knowledge of French.
You know French?
I know 4 languages. I can write, Dear Sir, Monsieur, Geehrter Herr, can you pain?
Oh, that's absurd. Sulla isn't a robot. Sulla is a girl like me. Sulla, this is outrageous. Why do you take part in such a hoax?
I am a robot.
No, you are not telling the truth. I know they forced you to do it for an advertisement. Sulla, you are a girl like me, aren't you?
I'm sorry, Miss Glory, Sulla is a robot.
It's a lie.
What? Excuse me, Miss Glory, then I must convince you.
Marius enters.
Marius, take Sulla into the dissecting room and tell them to open her up at once.
Where?
Into the dissecting room. When they've cut her open, you can go and have a look.
No.
Excuse me, you spoke of lies.
You wouldn't have her killed?
You can't kill machines.
Don't be afraid, Sulla. I won't let you go. Tell me, my dear, are they always so cruel to you? You mustn't put up with it, Sulla. You mustn't.
I am a robot.
That doesn't matter. Robots are just as good as we are. Sulla, you wouldn't let yourself be cut to pieces?
Yes.
Oh, you're not afraid of death, then?
I cannot tell, Miss Glory.
Do you know what would happen to you in there?
Yes, I should cease to move.
How dreadful.
Marius, tell Miss Glory what you are.
Marius the robot.
Would you take Sulla into the dissecting room?
Yes.
Would you be sorry for her?
I cannot tell.
What would happen to her?
She would cease to move. They would put her into the stamping mill.
That is death, Marius. Aren't you afraid of death?
No.
You see, Miss Glory, the robots have no interest in life. They have no enjoyments. They are less than so much grass.
Oh, stop. Send him away.
Marius, Sulla, you may go.
How terrible. It's outrageous what you are doing.
Why outrageous?
I don't know, but it is. Why do you call her Sulla?
Isn't it a nice name?
It's a man's name. Sulla was a Roman general.
Oh, we thought that Marius and Sulla were lovers.
Marius and Sulla were generals and fought against each other in the year. I've forgotten now.
Come here to the window.
What?
Come here, what do you see?
Bricklayers.
Robots. All our work people are robots. And down there, can you see anything?
Some sort of office.
A counting house. And in it,
A lot of officials.
robots. All our officials are robots. And when you see the factory, noon, we have to blow the whistle because the robots don't know when to stop work. In 2 hours, I will show you the kneading trough.
Kneading trough?
The pestle for beating up the paste. In each one, we mix the ingredients for 1,000 robots at one operation. Then there are the vats for the preparation of liver, brains, and so on. Then you will see the bone factory. After that, I'll show you the spinning mill.
Spinning mill?
Yes, for weaving nerves and veins. Miles and miles of digestive tubes pass through it at a time.
Mayn't we talk about something else?
Perhaps it would be better. There's only a handful of us among 100,000 robots, and not one woman. We talk about nothing but the factory all day, every day. It's just as if we were under a curse, Miss Glory.
I'm sorry I said that you were lying. A knock at the door.
Come in. From the right enter Mr. Fabry, drive Gaul, Drive Hallemeyer, Mr. Alquist.
I beg your pardon. I hope we don't intrude.
Come in. Miss Glory, here are Alquist, Fabry, Gall, Hallemeyer. This is President Glory's daughter.
How do you do?
We had no idea.
Highly honored, I'm sure.
Welcome, Miss Glory. Busman rushes in from the right.
Hello? What's up?
Come in, Busman. This is Busman, Miss Glory. This is President Glory's daughter.
By Jove, that's fine. Miss Glory, may we send a cablegram to the papers about your arrival?
No, please don't.
Sit down, please, Miss Glory.
Allow me.
Please.
Excuse me.
What sort of a crossing did you have?
Are you going to stay long?
What do you think of the factory, Miss Glory?
Did you come over on the Amelia?
Be quiet and let Miss Glory speak.
What am I to speak to them about?
Anything you like.
May I speak quite frankly?
Why, of course.
Tell me, doesn't it ever distress you the way you are treated?
By whom, may I ask?
Why, everybody?
Treated?
What makes you think?
Don't you feel that you might be living a better life?
Well, that depends on what you mean, Miss Glory.
I mean it's perfectly outrageous. It's terrible. The whole of Europe is talking about the way you're being treated. That's why I came here, to see for myself. And it's 1,000 times worse than could have been imagined. How can you put up with it?
Put up with what?
Good heavens, you are living creatures, just like us, like the whole of Europe, like the whole world. It's disgraceful that you must live like this.
Good gracious, Miss Glory.
Well, she's not far wrong. We live here just like Red Indians.
Worse than Red Indians. May I call you brothers?
Why not?
Brothers, I have not come here as the President's daughter. I have come on behalf of the Humanity League. Brothers, the Humanity League now has over 200,000 members. 200,000 people are on your side and offer you their help.
200,000 people. Miss Glory, that's a tidy lot. Not bad.
I'm always telling you, there's nothing like good old Europe. You see, they've not forgotten us. They're offering us help.
An orchestra?
More than that.
Just you?
Oh, never mind about me. I'll stay as long as it is necessary.
By Jove, that's good.
Domin, I'm going to get the best room ready for Miss Glory.
Just a minute. I'm afraid that Miss Glory is of the opinion that she has been talking to robots.
Of course.
I'm sorry. These gentlemen are human beings just like us.
You're not robots?
Not robots.
Robots indeed.
No thanks.
Upon my honor, Miss Glory, we aren't robots.
Then why did you tell me that all your officials are robots?
Yes, the officials, but not the managers. Allow me, Miss Glory. This is Mr. Fabry, General Technical Manager of R.U.R. Dr. Gall, Head of the Psychological and Experimental Department. Dr. Hallemeyer, Head of the Institute for the Psychological Training of Robots. Consul Busman, General Business Manager, and Alquist, Head of the Building Department of R.U.R.
Just a builder.
Excuse me, gentlemen, have I done something dreadful?
Not at all, Miss Glory. Please sit down.
I'm a stupid girl. Send me back by the first ship.
Not for anything in the world, Miss Glory. Why should we send you back?
Because you know I've come to disturb your robots for you.
My dear Miss Glory, we've had close upon 100 saviors and prophets here. Every ship brings us some. Missionaries, anarchists, Salvation Army, all sorts. It's astonishing what a number of churches and idiots there are in the world.
And you let them speak to the robots?
So far we've let them all, why not? The robots remember everything, but that's all. They don't even laugh at what the people say. Really, it is quite incredible. If it would amuse you, Miss Glory, I'll take you over to the robot warehouse. It holds about 300,000 of them.
347,000.
Good! And you can say whatever you like to them. You can read the Bible, recite the multiplication table, whatever you please. You can even preach to them about human rights.
Oh, I think that if you were to show them a little love.
Impossible, Miss Glory. Nothing is harder to like than a robot.
What do you make them for then?
Ha ha ha, that's good. What are robots made for?
For work, Miss Glory. One robot can replace 2.5 workmen. The human machine, Miss Glory, was terribly imperfect. It had to be removed sooner or later.
It was too expensive.
It was not effective. It no longer answers the requirements of modern engineering. Nature has no idea of keeping pace with modern labor. For example, from a technical point of view, the whole of childhood is a sheer absurdity. So much time lost, and then again.
Oh no.
Pardon me, but kindly tell me what is the real aim of your league, the Humanity League?
Its real purpose is to protect the robots and ensure good treatment for them.
Not a bad object either. A machine has to be treated properly. Upon my soul, I approve of that. I don't like damaged articles. Please, Miss Glory, enroll us all as contributing or regular or foundation members of your league.
No, you don't understand me. What we really want is to liberate the robots.
How do you propose to do that?
They're to be dealt with like human beings.
Aha. I suppose they're to vote, to drink beer, to order us about?
Why shouldn't they drink beer?
Perhaps they're even to receive wages?
Of course they are.
Fancy that now. And what would they do with their wages, pray?
They would buy what they need, what pleases them.
That would be very nice, Miss Glory, only there's nothing that does please the robots. Good heavens, what are they to buy? You can feed them on pineapples, straw, whatever you like. It's all the same to them. They've no appetite at all. They've no interest in anything, Miss Glory. Why, hang it all, nobody's ever yet seen a robot smile.
Why don't you make them happier?
That wouldn't do, Miss Glory. They are only workmen.
Oh, but they're so intelligent.
Confoundedly so, but they're nothing else. They've no will of their own, no passion, no soul.
No love?
Love? Rather not. Robots don't love, not even themselves.
Nor defiance?
Defiance? I don't know. Only rarely, from time to time.
What?
Nothing particular. Occasionally they seem to go off their heads. Something like epilepsy, you know. It's called robot's cramp. They'll suddenly sling down everything they're holding, stand still, gnash their teeth, and then they have to go into the stamping mill. It's evidently some breakdown in the mechanism.
A flaw in the works that has to be removed.
No, that's the soul.
Do you think that the soul first shows itself by a gnashing of teeth?
Perhaps it's a sort of revolt. Perhaps it's just a sign that there's a struggle within. Oh, if you could infuse them with it.
That'll be remedied, Miss Glory. Dr. Gall is just making some experiments.
Not with regard to that, Domin. At present I am making pain nerves.
Pain nerves?
Yes, the robots feel practically no bodily pain. You see, young Rossum provided them with too limited a nervous system. We must introduce suffering.
Why do you want to cause them pain?
For industrial reasons, Ms. Glory. Sometimes a robot does damage to himself because it doesn't hurt him. He puts his hand into the machine, breaks his finger, smashes his head. It's all the same to him. We must provide them with pain. That's an automatic protection against damage.
Will they be happier when they feel pain?
On the contrary, but they will be more perfect from a technical point of view.
Why don't you create a soul for them?
That's not in our power.
That's not in our interest.
That would increase the cost of production. Hang it all, my dear young lady. We turn them out at such a cheap rate. $150 each fully dressed. And 15 years ago, they cost $10,000. 5 years ago, we used to buy the clothes for them. Today we have our own weaving mill. And now we even export cloth 5 times cheaper than other factories. What do you pay a yard for cloth, Miss Glory?
I don't know really, I've forgotten.
Good gracious, and you want to found a Humanity League? It only costs a third now, Miss Glory. All prices are today a third of what they were, and they'll fall still lower, like that.
I don't understand.
Why, bless you, Miss Glory. It means that the cost of labor has fallen. A robot, food and all, costs 3/4 of a cent per hour. That's mighty important, you know. All factories will go pop like chestnuts if they don't at once buy robots to lower the cost of production.
And get rid of their workmen?
Of course. But in the meantime, we've dumped 500,000 tropical robots down on the Argentine pampas to grow corn. Would you mind telling me how much you pay a pound for bread?
I have no idea.
Well, I'll tell you. It now costs 2 cents in good old Europe. A pound of bread for 2 cents, and the Humanity League knows nothing about it. Miss Glory, you don't realize that even that's too expensive. Why, in 5 years, time I'll wager,
What?
that the cost of everything won't be a tenth of what it is now. Why, in 5 years we'll be up to our ears in corn and everything else.
Yes, and all the workers throughout the world will be employed.
Yes, Alquist, they will. Yes, Miss Glory, they will. But in 10 years, Rossum's universal robots will produce so much corn, so much cloth, so much everything, that things will be practically without price. There will be no poverty. All work will be done by living machines. Everybody will be free from worry and liberated from the degradation of labor. Everybody will live only to perfect himself.
Will he?
Of course, it's bound to happen. But then the servitude of man to man and the enslavement of man to matter will cease. Of course, terrible things may happen at first, but that simply can't be avoided. Nobody will get bread at the price of life and hatred. The robots will wash the feet of the beggar and prepare a bed for him in his house.
Domin, what you say sounds too much like paradise. There was something good in service and something great in humility. There was some kind of virtue in toil and weariness.
Perhaps, but we cannot reckon with what is lost when we start out to transform the world. Man shall be free and supreme. He shall have no other aim, no other labor, no other care than to perfect himself. He shall serve neither matter nor man. He will not be a machine and a device for production. He will be Lord of creation.
Amen.
So be it.
You have bewildered me. I should like to believe this.
You are younger than we are, Miss Glory. You will live to see it.
True. Don't you think Miss Glory might lunch with us?
Of course. Domin, ask on behalf of us all.
Miss Glory, will you do us the honor?
When you know why I've come.
For the League of Humanity, Miss Glory.
Oh, in that case, perhaps.
That's fine. Miss Glory, excuse me for 5 minutes.
Pardon me too, dear Miss Glory.
I won't be long.
We're all very glad you've come.
We'll be back in exactly 5 minutes. All rush out, except Domin and Helena.
What have they all gone off for?
To cook, Miss Glory.
To cook what?
Lunch. The robots do our cooking for us, and as they've no taste, it's not altogether. Hallemeyer's awfully good at grills, and Gall can make a kind of sauce, and Bussman knows all about omelets.
What a feast! And what's the specialty of Mr. your builder?
Alquist. Nothing. He only lays the table. And Fabry will get together a little fruit. Our cuisine is very modest, Miss Glory.
I wanted to ask you something.
And I wanted to ask you something, too. 5 minutes.
What did you want to ask me?
Excuse me, you asked first.
Perhaps it's silly of me, but why do you manufacture female robots when
sex means nothing to them.
Yes.
There's a certain demand for them, you see. Servants, saleswomen, stenographers. People are used to it.
But tell me, are the robots male and female mutually, completely without?
Completely indifferent to each other, Miss Glory. There's no sign of any affection between them.
Oh, that's terrible.
Why?
It's so unnatural. One doesn't know whether to be disgusted or to hate them, or perhaps...
To pity them?
That's more like it. What did you want to ask me about?
I should like to ask you, Miss Helena, whether you will marry me.
What?
Will you be my wife?
No, the idea.
Another 3 minutes. If you won't marry me, you'll have to marry one of the other 5.
But why should I?
Because they're all going to ask you in turn.
How could they dare do such a thing?
I'm very sorry, Miss Glory. It seems they've all fallen in love with you.
Please don't let them. I'll go away at once.
Helena, you wouldn't be so cruel as to refuse us.
But I can't marry all 6.
No, but one anyhow. if you don't want me, marry Fabry.
I won't.
Dr. Gall.
I don't want any of you.
Another 2 minutes.
I think you'd marry any woman who came here.
Plenty of them have come, Helena.
Young?
Yes,
Why didn't you marry one of them?
because I didn't lose my head. Until today. Then, as soon as you lifted your veil, another minute.
But I don't want you, I tell you.
1 more minute. Now you either have to look me straight in the eye and say no violently and then I'll leave you alone, or…
You're mad.
A man has to be a bit mad, Helena. That's the best thing about him.
You are…
Well?
You're hurting me.
The last chance, Helena. Now or never.
But Harry…
There is a knocking at the door.
Come in. Have you finished your job?
Yes.
So have we. As they realize what Domin means, they rush forward, congratulating Helena and Domin as